It's a trap!
Bow to the First Order, and we'll remember this as the last day of the Republic!
Heaven's Finn, and I'm in charge. Want me to blast that bucket up your head? We'll use the Force. May the Force be with us.
All right, you guys. So today we are going to get a look at our 2-pack Toys R Us exclusive Black Series Admiral Ackbar and First Order Officer. Absolutely awesome box. This went live, I believe, Tuesday on the 19th on my birthday, which was cool. So I ordered it on Tuesday. Package arrived Saturday afternoon. So I was very, very happy to get it. And really looks really good. So let's get a look at the box as we always do here. And guys, I do apologize for the glare as I turn this. So again, I apologize for that. But there we have our Star Wars logo at the top, our 2 figures in the very large window in this 2-pack. So very cool. We have the Toys R Us exclusive sticker here on the front. So that is absolutely awesome. And then of course we have the figure names here at the bottom in English and in French, I believe that is. And then of course we have our standard sketch art of the figures there in the corner as well. And then you can see the 2 weapons that these figures come with in the window there as well. And then we get the box turned to the side. We have the 2 names of the characters, and then it looks like it's just Ackbar there shaded in the background there. So very cool and very awesome. And then of course on the back of the box, as they always do, they give you the information on both of the characters here. And we're gonna move this a bit closer. I haven't read this information here. I don't know if it even names this particular character, but we are going to talk names in regards to the First Order officers. So be aware of that, guys. Later on in this video, we're gonna discuss that. Some very key, somewhat key information. It may also be spoiler information as well, so be aware of that as well. But again, here we go with the information on both of our figures here on the side there. Again, the sketch art on both of those figures. Star Wars, because it is an exclusive, there is no numbering on these, as you well know by now, if you have been watching the videos or if you are a collector yourself. And then of course, on the side of the box, same information, no numbers, just the character information there, right there on the side with the red background. So very cool box, awesome looking box. We're gonna get this guy open, and as I had mentioned, we are going to look at some very interesting aspects in regards to the new order officer. Right, guys, so we got our guys out of the box, looking absolutely awesome here. We are going to get a really good look at both of these guys here. We're going to start with our Admiral Ackbar right here, who is the star of this package here. We have been waiting for this character in a 6-inch form, and now we finally got him, so that is absolutely awesome. So getting a look at Ackbar here, close-up look, and we're going to get you guys all of the nice little details there, and of course his weapon is right there as well. But getting a look at Ackbar and the features on the head sculpt, very cool. Love the eyes there. The eyes look really good. The wrinkles there in the face. You have the 2-tone with the chin area from the rest of the face. So very good paint apps there as well. There's even around the eyes, and I know the camera doesn't do it justice, but the skin around the eye is like almost like a burgundy-ish type of flesh tone, if you will, or a skin tone, and then it tends to lighten up as it gets towards the top of his head. But on the top of his head, there's those little knots right there are the same color as the tone around the eyes. Very good paint apps there, and they've even demonstrated that. And again, the camera's not going to do it justice, guys, but they've even demonstrated that on the hands there. The top of the hand is a different shade or color from the arm. However, underneath the hand, you get that same color that's on the forearm and on the face area. So very good with the flesh tone colors on the skin for our figure here. Very awesome. And also the other thing that I like on his uniform, what they're doing with these figures, and I mean, this is really nothing new, but it just looks really good on the 6-inch line. When in regards to the uniform, you get this rubbery style of uniform that has the little splits in it. So Ackbar most definitely has that, and it does help with the articulation, and we're going to get a look at that articulation in just a moment. But also the belt here that goes around Ackbar. I'm going to move his hand so you guys can get a look at that. The belt around here looks really good on Ackbar, so very good attention to detail there on our figure. And then getting a look at the pants and legs area, very good detail on the pants, the wrinkles there in the pants area, so very good. Boots look very good with the little strap feature there, so very awesome detail all the way around on our figure. So let's get a look at the articulation on our Ackbar. And remember guys, I just pulled him out of the package, so he is going to be a bit stiff. We need to break him in. So going forward, your Ackbar is going to give you a knee lift that's about that high. Really good. Really good. And then of course, going straight out, he's going to get a kick that's about that high. So very cool. And then going back, you always get the very good double knee joint there. And Ackbar is no different. Very good going back. All right, and then going out to the side with your Admiral Ackbar, he's going to give you a side kick that goes up about that far. Pretty good, not bad for our Admiral. So very cool. Get a nice little round kick on somebody there with the calamari leg right there. So very cool. And then of course you always get the really good thigh twist there for in the thigh area on your figure. So you're good to go there with Ackbar. And then the same in the forearm area, you will get that nice. And then getting a look at our articulation in the ankle area. You do get your ankle rocker, so he's going to go side to side for you, so you can adjust that as needed. You get really good down as always, and then you should get really good up with Ackbar in the ankle joint. So very cool. My Ackbar, I believe it's, I forget what this leg. I'm not sure. One of the legs are a bit loose on my Ackbar, so that the leg tends to slide a little bit when you try to pose them. So I don't know if that's going to be a QC issue with all of these figures, but you might want to look out for that if your figure does have that as well. And then of course in the arm area, you are going to get a very good arm bend on our Ackbar. So very good. And then when you straighten them out, he's gonna straighten out right about there. So very good in that regard. Arm swings out very nicely right there. Going outward, so he's going to do you really well right there for your posing needs. And then going straight up, and then he's going to give you the 360. No issues here with any robe or any of the material around the arms. You're set and good to go. In your wrist area, he's going to give you a good bend going back with the wrist, and then going forward with the wrist, so you're all good there as well. And then of course you are going to get the very good 360 spin in the wrist. So if you want him to go gangsta with the blaster, he can do so. But kids don't go gangsta. There is no gangsta in Star Wars unless you're a Hutt. I guess Hutt is the closest thing that you would get to gangster in the Star Wars universe. So very good articulation in the arms and legs area. In your ab, you are going to get side to side with Ackbar. Not a lot, but there is some there for your posing needs. Going back, Ackbar is going to give you some back, a little front, but not a lot. So there he is, crunch going down in the ab area, and then going back. There you go. So it's just a little nudge going front and back with Ackbar. Not astounding, but it is there. Okay. So in the head area, in the as far as turning the head, it is going to be a bit difficult, and the reason for that is the collar right here interferes with the chin area in Ackbar. So you're going to get a head twist that's about as good right there to the left, and then a head twist to the right is going to be that far. So not a lot of right to left with the head. You do have up and down, and he does open his mouth, as you can see right there. So when you kick that head back, it seems to be a joint, a hinge joint in there that allows you to pose him with this mouth open. So very, very cool detail right there. That actually makes up for the lack of turning in the head, because you can actually pose this guy with his mouth open if you wanted to do so. So now we are going to get a look at our first order officer here. Very, very cool looking figure. Absolutely love it. I didn't see a name for this figure. So there isn't a particular name for this figure. He is just a nameless officer here, but very, very cool nonetheless. And a cool figure to army build with this guy. I look forward to army building these guys. But really cool looking figure, and you guys get a good look at the head sculpt there. Very decent head sculpt for just a nameless guy there. Looks so official and so first order-ish, if you will. But very cool, very similar to our Finn character in regards to the Finn disguise uniform. So everything is very similar in that. So just like Finn, our cap is removable on our officer. So very, very cool addition. And then of course, just to get you guys a good look at that cap right there. And there it is, guys. Hope you can see it. Just as our Finn, very, very cool. Lots of detail. You get the back flip there with the back of the cap, and then the first order symbol right there on the top. So very, very cool. And also getting a look at the rest of the figure itself. Very, very awesome looking figure. Again, you have the nice splits in the rubber in the uniform, so it's going to help you with your articulation with this guy. So very, very cool. Nice holster on the side, just like the Finn, where he can hold his blaster. So very, very cool. And we're going to get a look at that blaster as well. So getting a look at his blaster. Very cool blaster. Cool little detail there. You got a little black towards the front of the gun there. A little black on the handle, a little black on the back, and then you have some gray gunmetal for the rest of the parts of the gun. So very, very cool and very nice paint apps for his weapon. The weapon fits nicely into his holster, just as it does for Finn. So let's demonstrate that for you guys here. So again, fits nicely in the holster, so your officer is ready to go. So let's get a look at the articulation on our officer. So going forward, you get a nice knee bend going up with your figure. So very, very cool. And he's going to give you about that much bend in the knee going straight out. Very, very cool. And then also going to the side with our leg kick. Not too bad, but you really would like to have it up a bit more if you were going to give him a little side kick move there, pose, but not too bad nonetheless. And then going back again with the double jointed knee, you're going to do pretty good with the back going back. So very, very cool. And then of course you are going to get your thigh swivel there with your figures, which is typical for your Black Series. So very, very cool right there. Guys, and then in the arm area, nice elbow bend. Going back, he goes straight out. Very, very good. It's going to give you really good 360 going all the way around, no hampering. But just like Finn, that there's a little lip right here on the end of the jacket that kind of, so his arm is not going to go straight up. It's just going to kind of go out to the side a bit. But I don't think that's going to do anything in regards to your posing. So very, very good. Ab crunch area here for your figure. He's going to give you that much going back. Really, really good going back. Going forward, really, really good going forward. A lot better than Ackbar here. But I believe that's due to some of the clothing. And then, of course, in your head here, you should get good side to side head turning. Awesome right there. You should get good going back. Yeah, it goes back pretty good. Down. Fairly decent. Down, looking down really good. And then he looks back up. So very, very good articulation there. You should get, let's see if there's, so there is a bit of a notch, of a twist in the head, so you can get them, if you want them to have that confused head turn look, you can get it a little bit, not a lot, but fairly decent there. So very good articulation, very typical, especially compared to the Finn disguise. Very, very cool figures. I love both of them. Excellent, excellent figures. If I had to grade them, I would give them both a 10 out of a 10. Just some slight minor things here. As I mentioned, Ackbar, my left leg is a little loose, so it kind of slides out. It doesn't want to stand straight up. So that's a bit unfortunate, but you know, every once in a while you're going to get slight little QC problems with figures, but I don't think this is anything that's detrimental. My guy can stand up and I can pose him how I need to pose him, so nothing big there. No issues at all with the officer whatsoever. Excellent, excellent figure. So guys, what I'm going to do right now actually is we're going to get a look at Finn with our first order officer and a couple right, you guys. So while we have our first order troopers taking Ackbar away, we're going to get a comparison look between the Finn in the disguised first order officer uniform and compare it to our actual first order officer here. So getting a look at both of these guys together here. So as you can see, very similar uniforms, not much of a difference. One thing I want you guys to pay very close attention to is the armband there, and I apologize if it's blurred. But obviously very similar armbands with very similar information on those armbands. And one of the members of one of my Facebook Star Wars toy collecting groups actually deciphered what that is, what that band means there on the wrist of the character. And again, it is the same for both of these characters. And let's get a look at that post that he put up there. Brandon Taylor, who is one of the members in our Star Wars Docking Bay 94 toy collecting group, he posted this a few days ago in regards to the band on Finn's uniform there. And he put, so from what I can tell, the new Finn in the first order officer disguise, the cuff says Dylan in Arabic. So that was very, very cool information brought to us by Brandon Taylor. So Brandon, we really want to thank you very much for deciphering that. I also heard that obviously on the new first order officer, that same information is found on his cuff as well. And then I noticed one of the other posters here on this particular post here. This interesting post from Danny Johnston states that Dylan was a famous Imperial hero of the Galactic Civil War whose activities had passed into history by the time the First Order captains in the First Order military wore an armband on their uniform commemorating Dylan. So very, very cool information. That is from Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt, but very cool information in regards to that armband on our figure. All right, you guys. So Getting back to our figures here and our comparisons here, pretty much in regards to the disguise uniform for Finn and the First Order officer himself, the same mode as you guys can see, same body mode, it looks exactly the same. So there are no differences there, for the exception of the weapon. Obviously, the First Order officer's weapon is very, very detailed. It comes with a lot more paint apps than Finn's weapon, and I'm going to pull Finn's weapon. So if you get a look at the two weapons here, Finn's being the black weapon here, and the First Order officer's weapon right here, and with the gray. You're obviously getting more paint apps with the First Order officer's weapon as opposed to Finn. They give you a little bit of silver there on Finn's weapon there, but a lot more detail and paint apps for your First Order officer and his weapon. So those are some of the differences there between those two particular figures, but basically the same figure in the same uniform for the exception of the weapon and the head sculpt. So very, very cool. And then if we go over here to General and the differences with his particular uniform. Now, obviously, he is a much higher ranking officer. So his uniform is going to come with the black, obviously, and then he's got the long black leather trench coat for his uniform. So very, very cool there for our Hux character. He obviously comes with a different weapon, but very similar to Finn's weapon. As a matter of fact, if I put the two weapons up together, it's actually the same exact weapon. So it's going to be interesting to find out where Finn got this weapon from and who he got it off of, because he obviously, it isn't the same weapon that's issued to this particular officer. He has a totally different weapon. So again, it's going to be interesting to see where Finn lifted his weapon off of. He may have lifted it off of Hux, perhaps, since it's very similar to Hux's weapon there. So I'm just saying, guys, I don't know. Spoiler alert, maybe. So very cool. And then again, this model, the Hux figure here, is about 2 years old. Came out during the Force Awakens line, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's about a year and a half to 2 years old. One thing that they gave you with our new officers here is the removable cap, which you do not get with Hux here. Unfortunately, they did not give us the removable cap for Hux on this figure. So that is one of the differences that they provided to us here with the new officers and their figures there. So very cool. I absolutely love the Ackbar and officer combination. I think it's a great pack. I do hope that they take the officer and put him in his own individual pack for those who wish to army build and collect a couple of these guys. Perhaps they want to customize them, switch the head out on this guy, just to give it a different look for a different officer. But I really would love to army build these guys, kind of put together a First Order officers corps to sit behind Hux here and just make it look really military and official. So very, very cool, guys, and I really enjoy these figures, but I want to know what your thoughts are. Are you going to be collecting the Ackbar First Order officer combo pack there? And if so, are you going to be army building with your officers? Will you be customizing those figures? Again, removing the head here on either one. You can take the Finn figure, which does come in its own separate package. If Finn becomes a peg warmer, which he probably won't, but if he does end up being a peg warmer, it'll be interesting to see how many individuals start to pick this guy up and army build with these guys. So it's going to be really interesting to see that. So guys, I want to thank you very, very much for watching this review. Please like and subscribe. And from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.